Hi, good evening, everybody. This is Liz LaFavor. Um, I'm gonna start. This is kind of like the premiere of a weekly diary slash live blog that I would like to start. Um, I would like to build it upon religious values, both positive and negative, of both sides, good and evil. Right now, I find myself at a crossroads. Um, I'll get into that, in a little bit, but I'd like to share something with you right off the bat and let you know where I am today at this very moment. And then you can know how I got here, more about me. Um, Liz is not my real name, but for those who know me, I ask you if you do leave comments to please um, keep my name for the safety of myself and my family out of it, um, my birthplace, and things of that nature. That this is generally just something that I feel compelled to do, and I felt compelled to do for a long time, but I did not know the compulsion of the nature of what it was that I wanted to talk about. But these are things that I really do feel very passionate about. And it's observed because it's not about um, being pretty or like that Jenna Marbles, you know, um, all those things that she does and jokes about, kind of like a comedian, you know what I mean, to get the attention or whatever. It's kind of a different tune. It's about, you know, today it's about the good and the evil in the world today, um, and how you know, so many people are just lost. They're misdirected. They have no idea of what's right and wrong anymore because everything is so meshed into this huge crumpled ball that, you know, is not worth keeping, and it's just like a ball that gets thrown into the garbage can and you disregard it all. But I want to read you something because this is pretty much hot off the press, and I posted it on my Facebook, so those of my friends did get a chance to read it if they did. But it's called At the Crossroad. The devil wants my soul, but I haven't given it to him yet. There almost came a time I was ready to throw in the towel, but my soul was saved. Who saved my soul? Did I almost give my soul to the devil for a negative price I needed never to pay? Nor the light nor the dark can take credit, but here I am, wide awake, standing at the crossroads. The decision is mine, and mine alone I stand. It's this very crossroad many stand at, a conscious decision we must make, those of us who are spared. We were spared because in all actuality, we are not weak. Whether I choose my path, righteous, or that of the rising sun, I must choose wisely, for I will forsake my own. A virtual attack of which unknown, a constant rodent nibbling in my head. Rather I be dead. Possession by serpents dead. I tread lightly, for I do not know which way to turn. The balance scale is tipping over unto me now. I dream of unfathomable things and how. A simple search, not so known to me, rather a way of light that's always been before me. A playground my soul has become, of things unknown and things to come. Again at the crossroad of time I leap into the puddle of blood of sheep, the sacrifice to all things unnatural, a sea of evidence before me now I should, before me now should show. Wait, I have not leaped yet. I'm tipping slowly with fret. My position now is very unstable. On the cliff crumbles pebbles, rolling, tumbling a million miles below. Do I fall? This all seems so slow. Do I ask God to push me back? What's my prize if I do that? These blessings you speak of come with time. Why? When I can fall and live a lie. But I would have riches beyond my wildest dreams. It seems a testing and turbulent decision for me. I'm here at the crossroads I tip. Whether frontwards or forwards, I shall sip and drink of the cup. Unto me I shall live. Um, it was just something that came to me actually that I just felt compelled. I was in the middle of watching a doc Illuminati New World Order sex music conspiracy movie 2012. I downloaded it, and so I have a lot of spare time right now. So I've been doing a lot of research and learning, um, diving into pieces of information and things that never interested me that interest me now more than they've ever, interested me. Uh, what brought me here was um, a desperateness, um, so dark, so deep, so endless that I was ready to just collapse over and die, so to speak. Um, I'm not the only one. There are places for people who, are in recovery, um, for any addiction, for, you know, people who have lost spirituality, who have, a black hole in their heart, basically, and the only thing that can save them is learning to love themselves, and with that, God in heaven is the God of love. Um, so that's how many people recover. And I'm actually in recovery from illicit drugs and alcohol. My number one drug of choice is the liquid that, I can consume legally, um, at so many establishments. Um, and it's acceptable. Binge drinking nowadays is in every music video almost. It's wrapped about in, one verse in a song or another, almost every one we hear anymore about clubbing and all that. And it makes it really hard for people not to indulge in that and not to be influenced by it. However, I'm here and, I am a survivor. I did not die. I did not give up. I can't tell you what it was that um that saved me, eh, or like put on the brakes, because I was going down that road, and something, just to don't give up. You can give up. It was like it went like this. Okay. Here I am. Go, go, go. I've lost everything. What I do have left, I don't deserve. Everyone and everything is better off without me. Go, go, go. about ready to state to, to go this way, and instead something said to myself that I can give up on myself, but I can't give up on my kids. And I have 3 children, and they're beautiful and I love them to death. And we're really not going to talk much about them because um, they exist and I love them to death and they will always be here and I will always do my best for them no matter what. Um, but they are some driving inspiration and I may reference them every now and then. However, I'd like to keep the focus on um, people that are not children, like anybody who, what they say is old enough to make a good and bad decision, and or pretty much like, when we become teenagers or even like um adults, like 18 years old or whatever, those will just say, the primary people, group of people and age group that are pretty much drawn into this pit of self-indulgence that's advertised everywhere, everywhere you go, everything you do, it's all self-indulging, in one way or another. It's a very selfish world today, and I've been a very selfish person. um I really hope that this, what I mean, becomes a big thing. Really didn't have any thought, I just started recording. I wrote that and then I started recording, and it was like, just felt compelled to do it. So I'm doing it. I don't really know why yet, but I think it will come within time. I do like to talk a lot. Some things I know what I'm talking about, and others I'm just, being theoretical about because that's who I am. I am a very theoretical person. Um, so I'm in recovery. What led me here was the road of despair, um, and defeat and pain beyond the most unimaginable pain most people either can or can't relate to. Um, I know I'm not unique in that regard, um, but I know the pain and the despair I felt, was like a bottomless pit, and I didn't think I was gonna make it out alive, but I did. I grew up um, with a rough childhood. Um, we were poor. We moved around a lot. I never really got to have any good friends, solid friendships. You know, um, my mother married this man who was not my father, but he wound up um, sexually molesting me for like ever. And when I was 11, you know, the truth came out. Um, and that was a huge turning point in my life because I was put in foster care and I actually got to see, I call that God's first window of light into my life. It was just a window because I went back home and it was the same old bullcrap, but worse because, that her husband had been sentenced and went to jail. And when I came home, my mother was, as if it wasn't bad enough before, she was a full-blown alcoholic. And being the oldest of four, I most certainly assumed the responsibility of the parental role, the caretaker. Um, and that's really, really, really when an innocent girl turned into a soul and devoured by jealousy and hate and um, despise everything dark and everything bad, and started smoking weed. I started like having boyfriends. Um, I was, it was only within like a year or two that I became promiscuous, and I was like 13 years old, and um, it's just, you know what I mean? It is what it is. I did it. There's not much I didn't do. I have, um, I have hurt. I have judged. I have condemned. I've taken pride in my cruel, evil, sadistic ways. Um, I've taken pride in like being the person who you don't want to mess with because you know what I mean? Like you might be able to talk smack to me and tell me off, but if you so much as raised your fist to me, I'd take you out. Um, there was no doubt in my mind that my looks couldn't get your boyfriend, husband, fiance, if you so much as crossed me. I mean, and as for like the guys were my weakness. They were my medicine to feed the darkness because I was so codependent that every man that I brought into my life almost um, was either controlling, abusive, mentally, physically, um, even sexually, not like rape or anything, but like, like would make me feel like crap if I didn't have sex with him or blah, blah, blah. So it's like, again, here we go, pressure. Um, so if we speed up through time, okay, and basically from 11, I get out of foster care. I rebel, I move out. I got Jehovah Witnesses and Christians and Catholics knocking at my door periodically throughout time, like, you ready to give up to Jesus, confess, accept Jesus into your heart, have your sins cleansed, become reborn in the spirit, and live the life of the righteous and walk the righteous path. Well, I was never ready. I always had reservations to sin. And or I knew I was going to continue sinning. So to me, there was no point in it. 18 years old, you're on my porch. Yes, this is an example. Yes, I want to get saved by Jesus, but I have a boyfriend already and I'm going to still continue to have sex with him. It doesn't make sense to me. So I never did. I always heard people. I always heard them out to a certain degree until they just got annoying. I started smoking weed and drinking, and that turned into, cocaine, um, mushrooms, LSD, Oxycontin, um, crack, um, Suboxone, uh, oh my gosh, like, I don't know, just pretty much everything. And I think heroin, but I never shot up it, thank God. I mean, pretty much. I was addicted to oxys for 3 months and I detoxed on my own. And I knew that that was one thing that I could never do again because that was about as close to peacefulness and tranquility, mind, body, and soul, I think I've ever came. But it came with brutal, violent um, effects of being addicted. The weight loss, the vomiting, irritability, um, losing of jobs, just succumbing to, oh, my roommate is babysitting his dog. Um, but like that was my first real, oh boy, 3 months of that was like I was controlled by that drug. That drug controlled me. It was insane. So got over that, continued to do very bad things. People would judge me and think that would be that I am the things that I've done in my life are so bad and so unforgivable that I will burn in hell for forever. There's one part of the story. The other part of the story is, my continued drug and alcohol addiction. Two, um, I was presented with consequences. Didn't stop me. Years and years of consequences because of drug and alcohol addiction, and none of it stopped me until September 9th of 2012. Um, 2 weeks before that, I knew I, I was spoken to, and something told me, you can give up, but you can't give up for your kids. So, my mind, body, and soul, getting sober. I'm going to do this. I still believe that they may be better off without me, which are my children, but I'm going to do this for them. Okay? That's it. It's not about me. I'm going to do this for them. So, I don't know. I can't explain that. I don't really understand it. So, started doing everything I needed to do for them to get help for me. And 2 weeks later, I relapsed. I went into a local establishment, um, thinking I could go and see this music event, because those of you who know me know I love music with a passion. Music is everything to me. I think it's what's kept me alive all this time. Uh, and I drank. I could not do it. I did not have control. I did not have the control to do it. Alcoholics Anonymous, the first step of 12. When you go into recovery, you work 12 steps. First step is we admitted we were powerless over alcohol and that our lives had become unmanageable. That next morning and weekend following that night that I walked out to have a cigarette, and when I walked back in, I was bouncing off of both walls, and the doorman's like, you ain't coming in here. And, I kind of was like, yeah, I know, and turned around and left and drove home. And so that weekend, I pretty much realized it was like a light bulb. I am completely powerless over drugs and alcohol, and my life has become unmanageable. And if it wasn't for that light bulb moment, I would not be here today. So I put my faith into a fellowship of people who are trying to get sober, who are sober, and that they could help me. And so far, so good. Today is 81 days for me. I was on a pink cloud at first, the first month, ooh, I'm sober, that light bulb went off and something actually clicked, you know. Felt like we were getting somewhere and we had gotten somewhere, meaning myself. And, then a month later, fell off my pink cloud, which is my sober cloud, and real life started to hit me again. So I'm all depressed and, you know, feeling like, wow, alrighty, here we go. Here we go. Um, so I went and got some pills to take care of my depression, and so far, so good too. I'm really never good about taking pills, but I'm trying. Uh, so with my downtime, I started searching um, things about the universe, like the creation of the universe, God in the universe, um, the Milky Way galaxy, um, our solar system, the creation of our planets, mm, different kinds of suns, death of stars, things of that nature. And I got a really good concept. You know, Overall, there's a creator. There's no doubt in my mind that there is a creator, clearly, obviously. There are many theories, whichever you choose to believe is yours. I believe that my creator is a divine one because he or she or it is so intelligent beyond anything you could fathom that I have no choice but to give praise to, you know, that sense of divinity. Hold on one second. Pause. Okay, sorry about that. So, um, I gotta remember where I was. Oh, so, uh, I started researching. Basically, I wanted to understand my universe, everything around me. So, I figured I'd start big, work my way on down. Um, so it was like I learned about all that and particles. So that's pretty much, you got molecular particle all the way up to who grandiose universe that is claimed to be expanding. Kind of scary. Really don't know what the whole deal with that is, but hey. Um, and in my education of that, I just wanted to find contradictions to science where things are unexplained or things are so grandiose that they have no idea how it was created or how it came about, and I found that, and that's what I was looking for. I needed to find a God of my understanding, a higher power, so to speak. When you first enter the quote unquote rooms of either AA or NA, which is Narcotics Anonymous for those who um, their primary drug of choice is, you know, any any and everything but alcohol. Um, Same thing. It's step 2 and 3. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Well, that was AA for me. That was the fellowship. I followed their lead and I put all my faith into them because I was so desperate. I knew I was going to die. I seen myself dying. Um, and that's why my last effort and attempt was for my kids. Um, and then step three is like, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understand Him. So that's where I was hung up. I'm like, but I don't know who my God is. I sure as heck don't trust no um, God by that of the Catholic Church. He's condemning. I don't have that God that I believe in because the one in the pictures with the son Jesus, I just didn't have him in my life. And, he was basically just like a fable to me. Um, so when I had to find a God of my understanding, um, because step three, I had to turn my will and my life over to this God. So, I was going out on a limb. I didn't know what I was looking for, what I was going to find. But I needed to find something because I needed to recover. And I found a God of my understanding. I really can't draw a picture of him to you, but maybe if you guys want me to, I can. That'll be a challenge. I don't know. I could probably do that. For sure. And I have some humor too. Like sometimes watching all them shows initially in my sobriety, it was like, oh, God is like a mad scientist, with these goofy goggles, and he's sitting over an aquarium, and here we are in this aquarium, and we're on the inside looking out, and so, but I mean that's not who. um I joke about that, but that is not my God. My God has no figure and has no shape. He just has a power and an energy like that of nothing that could ever be measured. Um, and that's powerful because when you have spiritual awakenings like me, you feel that power. And that power is not of yourself, and it manifests. So, continuing on my search, I started coming across um, educational things or conspiracy things um, like the Illuminati or Satanism in the music industry and in the movie industry, the Freemasons, the Skull and Bones Club, that um, that yearly gathering that they have in California that the one guy snuck into, seen him doing a ritual, um, the opening and closing ceremony of the 2012 Olympics from London. Just so many things were brought to my attention, and so many things that tripped my curiosity that it was like, why are people saying this? You know what I mean? Like I never even um, thought or wondered about any of that. So, I'm like, all right, God, this is where you're directing me. My curiosity is piqued. So, therefore, I'm going to read and I'm going to watch and I'm just going to do it. Well, I learned a lot. Um, I picked up on a lot of people's theories of past, present, and future. Most in particularly with Satan, the devil, the darkness, evilness in today's society and culture, globally. Um, It was pretty terrifying. And I'm going to tell you a little story. A couple years ago, my ex-fiance and I were laying in bed, and both of us witnessed this. And if I need him to testify on my behalf, even though he probably hates my guts, he probably would, to validate my point. Um, Shortly after my curiosity was piqued and I started reading all this stuff, I became obsessed with darkness. Darkness in a matter of like um, the darkness in my life, the darkness in the people that the company I keep, um, the darkness that has been manifesting over years and years, like years, like thousands, okay? Those manifestations on throughout history. I seen one. The research that I did tells me it was a shadow person, okay? I'm not really sure what it was, but I guarantee you it had no definitive shape, and it was spooked really easily, and it darted away when my fiance, I think he's the one who, we were both laying in bed and it was a dark room. So the shadow we seen coming out of my ceiling, the darkness of the matter that it was made of compared to the dark in the room was like black and white. You could see it. You know what I'm saying? And it's, moving above us. And, he taps me and he's like, hey, look at that. And I look and I'm like, oh my goodness, what is that? And it's moving, and finally he goes to sit up, I think, to get a closer look at it. And the thing was like, and disappeared. We were so scared, we jumped out of bed. We ran upstairs like little kids. Um, Another incident, same basement. My 2-year-old gets thrown out of his crib in the middle of the night. He's in a dead sleep. He wakes up out of a dead sleep on the floor with blankets on top of him. And then the last incident of the same basement was when my ex-fiance and I had broken up, and um, he was no longer there, and it was shortly after he left. I'm laying in bed having a dream. In my dream, I'm like just somewhere that makes no sense, or it's just I'm somewhere. I'm on a balcony, you know what I'm saying? And I got like sliding glass doors to the left of me, and I'm just chilling. There's plants, and a scream happened in my ear that made my eardrum rattle and woke me up out of a dead sleep in that dream. And my whole head jerked, and it like kinked. My neck kinked because I had such a violent jerk, because that screech in my ear was not from my dream. There's no way it rattled in my eardrum. That's vibration. That's like real reality. That's not dream world. And in dream world, it's a little bit different. Things can be fuzzy. You don't feel heat. You don't taste. Um, you don't feel physical things like that when I felt my eardrum being screeched into. And it was a blood curdling screech I'll never forget. That instance was brought to my attention like, do you remember that? And I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, I do. And here I am talking to myself. Um, so I started researching it. Um, and then for a while there, I was into the paranormal thing, you know, um, trying to get a concept across the board of people's theories. Again, theories. There are so many theories, And nothing is for sure. The only thing that is for sure that we're supposed to believe in is the Catholic faith and or your other religious faith, sect, denomination. What the science books teach you, what the history books teach you, and what your government officials say they do or are going to do. But 100% of that is bull. It's baloney. It's bull crap. Basically, in a nutshell, I came to the conclusion that everything that I thought that wasn't. None of it. And it's kind of like up to this moment, I'm at a crossroads because I've been doing a lot of research about like darkness, dark energy, um, Satanism, like Aleister Crowley, um, the I could just go on and on, and I'm not going to talk about stuff I don't know, but like the Rothschild, I think it's one of the main bankers in a ring in the separate state in Britain or something like that. I don't know. But I'm going to add links to a lot of the things that I've been watching so you can watch too, because I would love for people to debate with me, agree with me, disagree with me, challenge me. Don't come at me and be rude or vicious or attacking. I'm really not here for that. If it comes down to it, I will disable the comments. I don't want to because I feel that people who come across me and who want a chance to respond should have that right. It shouldn't be ruined by, you know, one person or two people. Um, but you're more than welcome to put together a comment that is um, just respectable to me and the audience. Try not to swear, because if younger, like teenagers or youth, are to come across this and watch this, I don't want them reading a whole bunch of comments with, a whole bunch of like terrible language. Just please do that for me, is all I ask. And sorry, yes, I smoke. Um, I think that is it for today. That's a little bit about me. Um, I am 29 years old, a mother of three, and I'm kind of at a crossroads today in my life. Um, Now that I have been made aware of how my drinking and drug use was basically a playground for the devil and an invitation for possession, which I've been possessed before. I've been drunk and in blackouts and done things that I cannot explain, that I could never explain, and that I thank God that I can't remember. People told me some things that I've done that is just out of character. It's unbelievable. I've attacked my best friend and on the ground, and her words to me about recapping was, you were growling. Like you were growling on top, or you were growling at me. And in this process, since I've been in recovery, these things have like came back to me. They happened so long ago, or they were so irrelevant. I mean, they were kind of relevant at the time, but then they became irrelevant so quickly. Life goes on. And then these things have been coming back to me, and I've been putting putting them in their perspective places where they fit in to my recovery right now, and I process them. I've been possessed. I've been the playground for demonic entities ever since I came out of foster care. That's when I started to make my own choices. I was about 12 or 13 years old, full-fledgedly knowing what I was doing. Um, and evil had been preying on me probably since the moment I was born. And he got me, but he didn't want me to die. I mean, I don't think God nor the devil wanted me to die. And so I'm here today. I'm not dead. I'm at a crossroad. Because of all the things that I have learned and that I would like to share have brought me to this point in my life. And I kind of don't know which way to go. Because one seems like so much work and the other one seems like no work at all. But if I go that way, then, you know, I'm afraid I'm gonna die. I know I'm gonna die no matter what. But I'm really afraid that my life would be so unpredictable then that I would just be at the disposal of the devil at any time. And I don't know. I'm at a crossroad. And I think it's really important to understand that many people have been where I am today. And this is real. When you become aware and you get to this crossroad that I'm at right now, you have to make a decision. And that's where I'm at today. It's been like eating at me all week. I was supposed to get baptized on Sunday, and instead, I'm not getting baptized until this Sunday. And it's crazy, you know? I don't know what has came over me in this last week. It's like my mind has gone crazy. I don't want to go this way and I don't want to go that way. And I'm most certainly not an atheist. Oh, I mean, I think atheists, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure they believe in good and evil. They have to. They just don't believe you go heaven or hell. They just think that, you perish and, your soul is like energy mist that floats off into space, just like you dump ashes over a cliff. But this last week has been really, really hard for me. I feel like I can't describe how I feel right now. Um, but it just seems like it's in slow motion. And what I felt so powerful about exposing, the darkness in my life, calling it out, pinpointing it, identifying it, um, taking responsibility for the choices that I made and the things that I've done. I don't want to be that person anymore. I don't. Um, but the things that I've been learning, this rising sun, so to speak, is something that's magical and fantastical. And as I get to know my, so to speak, enemy, I'm becoming more intrigued. I'm not really sure why. I know I'm poor. I know I can kind of sing, but not really. And smoking doesn't help. I know I have passions and I have drive. And I am a very, very strong willed individual. But it's kind of like I've got two ways to go and they want me to go right now because they both want me to be on their side. Does that make sense? I don't even know if I'm making any sense. I hope to God I am. And I'm not sure what my purpose would be on either side. But I want my kids to have a good life. And I want their grandkids to have a good life. And so I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to get this up and post it, part one and part two, because I had to let the dog out. And you're more than welcome to comment. Thank you for listening to me. I hope I didn't completely babble on. I hope that 90% of what I said seemed credible. Um, and there will be much, much, much more to come. I believe I'm going to go through with the baptism, even though something in me recently today kind of was like, don't, because you're starting to doubt yourself. But I'm sure it's the devil um, in me telling me, persuading me not to. But I'm going to leave it at that. Much, much more to come. I welcome all comments, most in particularly people who either have been where I'm at, who have came to the exact conclusion or the position that I was at, where they went with it, um, whether it be you took a right or you took a left, so to speak, um, and the outcome of that decision. So, with that, I say thank you for listening, and this is Liz Lefebvre.